Hi there, it's Sam from PootlesPapercraft. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today's project is actually two projects. It is a big box and a long skinny box, and actually it was this box that I was designing originally because I wanted a nice big square box that opened in a particular way. So there you go, and it's permanently sealed at the bottom, but obviously you can open it and close it in the top. And when I made this box I was left with a long skinny bit, and I thought, what can I do with that? I know, I'll make another box. So it's two projects for you today, and it uses one sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock, or that would be 13.5 by 30.5 centimetres. So I'm going to move those right out of the way and bring in my cardstock. This one was pistachio pudding with Venetian Romance designer series paper. This time I'm doing something different, so I've got Pear Pizzazz paper. So with your sheet, if you're in Imperial, you cut it at 9 inches, so you're left with a 9 by 12, and that in metric is 30.5 centimetres, so you cut it at 23, that leaves you 7.5 centimetres here. So we're going to work on the big one first. Don't worry about writing any of the dimensions down, I will put everything on my blog for you. So you can just grab a cup of tea, because this is probably going to be about 15 minutes, this video. Grab a cup of tea and watch along, or coffee. So I'm going to give you the Imperial measurements first. So with the long side at the top, so the 12-inch side, you score it at 2 7/8 of an inch, 5 3/4 of an inch, 8 5/8 of an inch, and at 11.5 inches. And in metric, that is slightly easier. It's 7, 14, 21 and 28 centimetres. And then you turn it round. This time you score it at 2 inches, 5 5/8 of an inch, and at 8.5 inches. And in metric, that is 5, 15 and 22 centimetres. Now, a few people have asked me if I will put the measurements of the boxes, the finished dimensions, on my blog. So this one is 2 7/8 of an inch that way, and 3 5/8 of an inch tall, which in metric is 7 centimetres that way, and 10 centimetres that way. So that's that box. And then the little skinny box, so you've got your long sides 12 inches, 30.5 centimetres, and you are going to score it at 1 inch, 5.5, 6.5 and at 11 inches. And in metric, that is, you want to cut yours down, cut yours down to 30 centimetres, so cut half a centimetre off, 30 centimetres, and you score yours at 2.5, 14, 16.5 and 28, which leaves you 2. You don't cut it down to 30.5 at all, you leave it. You leave it at 30.5. I'm sorry, rewind. 30.5. Oh, I'm rubbish today. And then turn it round and you score it at 1 inch and at 2 inches, which is 2.5 and 5 centimetres. Look at my notes. I apologise. I'll make sure it's all written correctly on my blog. So this one, when it's finished, it measures 2.5 centimetres tall and that way, which is 1 inch that way and that way, and it is 4.5 inches that way, which is 11.5 centimetres that long. There we go. Shall I have less coffee before I film the video? Right, so fold on your score lines, fold and burnish everything. Definitely use your bone folder, because this is our cardstock, which is remarkably good quality. So do give it a good burnish. Last one there, and then bring in the other one. Fold on those score lines as well. Keep folding all of them. Okay, so now I've got this one in front of me. This is the little skinny mini box. So with it going left to right horizontally, cut straight up the side of the rectangle and cut into the square. So you've got a little wedge cut out, and then keep doing that all the way round. And you do it on both sides, and I've said it in my other videos, this just makes the close of it that little tiny bit neater. And it gives it that very professional finish. I like to think so. And actually I didn't show you how the skinny box opened. You'll obviously see that in a second when I close it and show you. So grab your piece of designer series paper that measures, where have I put it? It measures, did I pick it up? I didn't even cut it. That would have helped if I'd have cut it. With an stamping trimmer, you need a piece for the top of this that measures 3/4 of an inch by 4.25 centimetres. So 4¼ by 3/4 of an inch, which is 11 by 2 centimetres. There you go. Now you can see the paper I'm using. It is the Afternoon Picnic, which I love. And it carried over. It was originally called Tea for Two, and it was in the spring catalogue in last year's spring catalogue, and then it carried over into this year's main annual catalogue, but with a colour change. And I was so happy, and I'm going to be so sad when it leaves us. And if it hasn't already hit the retiring list, and I'm guessing by my calculations of when I'm filming and when it's going to come out, it's already on the retiring list. Get it quick. Right, snail or some kind of adhesive. You would want a stronger adhesive in all of these little tabs. I am using snail for speed, but something like Tombow or sticky strip, get those on it. So this is the lid, so we're only going to fold up the tabs on one end. We're not going to fold the middle tabs to this part, because that's the lid, and these ones want to stick to this bottom part, because obviously that's going to go underneath. And then, oops. So that's the box. You fill it with your sweeties or goodies or maybe a piece of jewellery. So that's that box built. Obviously it still needs to be decorated yet. This one, slightly different. What we need to do, this is the bottom part. You've got a little skinny section at the top and a wider part here. This is the bottom, so we need to dump that one there. That skinny rectangle, so get rid of that, don't need that at all. And then cut straight up these, because this is going to form the bottom of the box. Okay, and then the top section, get rid of that skinny section and the tiny little square. Just get rid of all of those. And then come and cut straight down all of these. We are going to remove a section in a second, but it's easier to cut down all of them first. And then I can explain the parts to remove. So, oops, my fingernails caught in the scissors then. Okay, so this one here that is close to the tab, that's this section. So we need to keep the top part of that. This one is that part. So we need to cut half of it off. Just chop it off. Doesn't need to be perfect, but roughly in the middle is always good. Don't need this one at all, because that part is this section here. So we can get rid of that one completely. And keep that, because we're going to use that in a second for these little leafy bits. And then this one, that's this section here. So again, chop it off. There we go. So I'm going to hang on to that one because I need that. And then just come along around your corners. Where's my corner round? Where is the corner round? There it is. Round all of the corners, it makes it look nicer and it helps it close better. Neaten that up a tiny bit. And this one as well, just trim around the corners there. Okay, and now we're going to start putting sticky strip on. This stuff hates me. So it's this little tab here. Need a piece of sticky strip on there. Oops. So a piece on that section. And then this part here is the back of the box. So if I fold it and sort of hold it, that's the back, and this one here is the front. So we need adhesive, if I keep hold of them, on those two parts. So it's the one next to the little sticky outy tabby bit, miss one, and then some on there, and it's on the opposite side. So we had sticky that side, now we want it on the opposite side, and just stick it down at the bottom. It's absolutely fine, and that is because it's not a perfect close. It doesn't go all the way to the edge, and that was so that I could get extra height there. So I didn't need it to be completely, I didn't need the bottom to go completely over. That's fine. We have an overlap of just over 1/2 inch. That's not a problem to me. I didn't need it to be completely sealed. Right, more pieces of designer series paper. This time we need 4 pieces for all the panels and 1 for the lid. The one for the lid is 2 5/8 of an inch by 2 5/8 of an inch, which is 6.5 by 6.5 centimetres. And then the panels on the front, they measure, here's my notes, 3 3/8 of an inch by 2 5/8 of an inch, which is 6.5 by 6.5 by 9.5 centimetres. Okay, so all of these panels, I'm going to stick them on with some snail. And actually the writing sort of goes, the writing on this paper goes in all sorts of different directions, so actually it's okay. It doesn't need to be perfect. Look, this one, actually typically the paper goes in both, the writing goes in both the same direction, but there we go, it's sideways and it's facing down there. So this is not one of those papers where you have to, you know, be spot on with which way up you've cut it. It's not like it's a, you know, there's no repeat on the pattern or anything in that sense. And again, there you go, it's reading correctly there, but it's sideways there. Doesn't worry me. There we go, right, and I can start building this now. So I need to, where's my paper piercer? Oh, it's here. It's okay, I thought one of my children had pinched it again. Because it was them last time. I don't know what they were doing with it, but there was no blood, which is good. 4 little boys and a paper piercer involved. Could have been quite terrible. So that's the sides closed in. Let me just, there we go, fold those parts in. This is the front of the box. We want to seal that one last. So come and take the backing off this one and fold it over, and you can see there it's just over halfway, which is fine. That's enough to keep it closed. And this one as well. So there you go, hopefully you can see that overlap there. So there's enough, there's more than enough to keep it closed. Grab your bone folder or your scissors or something just to make sure it's fully down. And I forgot to put the brad in the top, that would have been useful. So a hole in the middle of the top, and I have got the antique, are they antique brads? Yes, antique brads they're called. I want a kind of silvery one. There we go. And this is kind of as a handle, it's not just for decoration, although decoration is awfully pretty, so don't shove it all the way in, you need to be able to get your fingernails under it. And then split the pins open, and you can see there is just enough room for me to get my fingernails onto that to open that again at a later date. So there you go, open and close, no problem. So final bits of decoration for these, and I've got my little sort of whimsical, whimsical linen thread pattern going on. So to make this, if you didn't see my video the other week, grab a piece of sticky strip and sort of stick it roughly in the location that you want it to be. And then grab your linen thread, and because it gets a kink in it, just grab your bone folder and stretch it out. And that'll de-kink it. And then just randomly lay your loops on where you want them to be. Oopsie daisy. And it's just kind of fun, really.
nip off those edges, and then I want to, I've got the bird builder punch, and I've got that spare bit of the Pear Pizzazz paper, and I've cut it's the stalk, the leaves I want. So I'm grabbing those, and I take my glue dots. They are flat, but if you fold them over in half and maybe get into a little bit of a ball, you can get a bit of height on them. So I'm just going to put one on the back of one of those parts there, one of the leaves there. Can you see that? Let me tip that. And you get a kind of a ball of it, so you get a bit of elevation. Another one just there. And that sort of kind of lifts it off the project. And then I want, how many of these do I want? I want 4 petite petals, and this is very vanilla. And then I shall take 4 of these as well, 5 of these actually I want. This is the Itty Bitty Shapes punch pack that is leaving us. That's outrageous. Just Stampin' Up! No, this is not my, this is just my favourite. Let me move those out of the way. Shadows forming here. Wisteria Wonder. So I shall have 2 of each, I think. Shall I have 2? No, I shall have 3 Wisteria Wonders. And how many shall I have in little mini ones? 2 of each, I think. 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I shall have, I've lost count. 3 of these. And then a couple in Coastal Cabana, I think. Because that's the other colour I'm bringing in. And the Coastal Cabana. Here we go. Lovely colour, because that's this blue that's in the background here. So one of those. And then, whoops, 2 of these. Getting tangled in my fingernails here. And then I've got my Stampin' Pierce map, because there's quite a few of these. Normally I just do these on the one that I keep my needles and things in, but there's a few more of them this time, so just stick them all out. Paper piercer, back of it, straight in the middle, push down with a little bit of force, and it lifts everything up. And then not crystals, pearls. So the biggest ones in the bigger flowers. Oh, they're running away from me. And then the smallest ones in the smallest flowers, which makes sense, big in big, small in small. Oops. And then turn them all over so they're all kind of ready. And then bring in my projects. Oh, I need to wrap some linen thread around this one as well. So I'm just going to wrap it round 3 or 4 times, I think. And then I can tie it off in a bow. See, I could do a linen thread bow with no problem. Give me fabric. Rubbish. Oops. Says I can tie one of these and then can't do it. There we go. So a bit of linen thread on there, just to, I suppose, just to really finish it off. And then shift this all out, and then mini glue dots again, and I pick them up with a paper piercer, and I'll pick up the biggest one first. So I know I want one of those down there. And then just, this is where you cover up the glue dots, the sticky strip that was used before. and they kind of just go in random locations, but it's covering up the sticky. I don't remember how many I counted now. My brain's gone. There we go, last one down there. And then that one under there. And that is my project done. So there you go, 2 gorgeous, I think, gorgeous boxes from one sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Oh, that was 20 minutes. I hope your coffee didn't go cold. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye.